My name is Justin Dunn. To begin, let's take a quick look at our agenda for the presentation. We are going to start with an overview of the Haas Clean cleansing stick, followed by the features and benefits of using the device, how it works, retrofit capabilities, associated cost savings, which is one of my personal favorite tools for selling 9083, and we'll discuss other methods available for flushing fluid upkeep. Next, we'll look at available portable eye wash offerings in the Haas line and the ANSI requirements for those testings. With that out of the way, the Haas Clean name is trademarked, and the model number is the 9083, or we call it the 9083. The device we are discussing is there on the right-hand side of the 7501 portable. Now, the 9083 Haas Clean device is a safe, effective, and chemical-free way to prevent the growth of bacteria inside the tank that can include Legionella, E. coli, Canthamoeba, or Pseudomonas, all of which are bacteria that can make a very bad situation worse when you're seeking life or livelihood-saving flushing fluid. And each of these can potentially affect the lungs, blood, brain, and spinal cord. Each of these can be found in stagnant, contaminated, or untreated water. The 9083 reduces the overall cost and resources necessary to maintain portable self-contained equipment, making it a absolute huge win with maintenance, building engineers, and safety professionals that are charged with maintaining the self-contained eye washes in their facilities. So how does it work, right? So it utilizes a noble metal media consisting of active ceramics and a copper-silver ionization process that has been used for over 30 years now and is recognized by who? That's right, the World Health Organization. That was a terrible joke. To control Legionella and other bacteria in portable water sources. This process disperses positively charged copper and silver ions into the water system, which bond electrostatically with the negative sites on bacteria cell walls, preventing the establishment of biofilm or slimes that harbor bacteria. Okay, this process is used in many more applications than what we're using it for, and is very popular for use in universities, hospitals, and other similar facilities. The Haas Clean 9083 provides 3 years of protection with only a once annual full compliance check required to meet the Z358.1 standards. That ANSI annual check requires you to activate the unit for a full 15 minutes, and we suggest removing the 9083 during this time and cleaning it off with clean potable water before replacing it back into the tank. Or if there is buildup on the device, which is rare, but it can happen, simply let the device sit in acetic acid, like vinegar is ideal, and then rinse off the device and put it back into use. Okay, one stick protects up to 16 gallons, and you can use 2 sticks to double the amount of water that can be kept growth free. The shelf life of the product is also 3 years, so long as the external plastic packaging remains unopened. The actual 3-year operational life of the product begins when the sealed bag is opened or if it's punctured, not when the device is actually placed into a water source. Remember also that this is it's an easy to use and install product. There's no power required, and it's environmentally free and recyclable after its usefulness is complete. Now, installation is incredibly simple. The 9083 includes a string made of twisted polypropylene. It's approximately 38 to 44 inches in length, which makes for easy retrieval of the device, as well as allowing you to suspend the device in the potable water. The 9083 is most effective when suspended in the water rather than just sitting on the bottom of the tank or when partially submerged. Neither option is recommended. So if you were to just throw the device into a tank and it's sitting on the bottom, it's going to be slightly less effective, or if it's sitting against the wall of whatever unit it is that it's protecting. Okay. Now there are two methods for installation available. Either by utilizing the string and inserting it into the included eyelet hole that is, you can see it there in the photo just underneath our portable cap, and you can tie it off there. Or you can use my own preference for installation and the recommended method described in our installation documentation, which is to drop the 9083 into the tank while holding on to the included string to ensure it is suspended in the water at your desired depth, okay, which is preferably midway from the bottom to end top of the tank. You want it directly in the middle of the water source. Off to the side is okay, but so long as it is completely suspended and it's not touching any walls is ideal. And then all you need to do is simply screw on the dust cover cap to hold it in place, which allows you to suspend that device again away from the inner wall, which is preferred for maximum efficiency. I like to take it one step further and tie off the 9083 to the mounting handle after the dust cap is in place, so that as you remove the cap weekly for inspections, the depth of the 9083 will remain exactly the same. Now, the really good news is that if the portable being used has an opening for adding water that is larger than 2 inches, the 9083 will work. Okay, these are just some of the known models that the 9083 will work on, including Acorn, Bradley, Encon, Guardian, as well as some of the units you run into aside from the bigger names like Fendall and Hughes. But this is a full list for you from A to Z, from what we know for sure from a portable and pressurized unit standpoint to where the 9083 will work. Just remember that the opening has to be larger than 2 inches, and you'll be all set. Now, when calculating cost savings, not only the cost of the device should be considered when selling this, but also the annual cost in time and effort. The convenience alone is just a huge benefit. Being able to leave the portable untouched for a year at a time for up to 3 years is unique to us and unique to this device, and it makes it so convenient that the maintenance team and whoever else is maintaining these devices, they have other things they want to focus on, right? They don't want to have to go back and refill the portables all the time and etc. And that is just an absolute huge benefit and value to the customers. Now, currently, we calculate with average maintenance costs included that the 9083 is the most effective and cost-effective way to keep your water clean at $340 3-year total cost, maintenance and list cost of the device included. And you can see there at the bottom a weekly flush with no additive. That's just their time. You're just paying for somebody's time to go out to the unit, dump it, and refill it with water. It's a much more expensive endeavor. Now, that fact brings us to your other options. Now, you could just fill the units with water and not utilize any sort of chemical or device, but whoever is in charge of the portables and their maintenance is going to get annoyed. And very quickly at the end of at their 2 to 4 week water change that'll be necessary to prevent stagnant bacteria riddled water. And those frequent visits come with a very high cost in both money and time. So I guarantee you that you're going to get some complaints pretty early on after the first several months of having to change the water in that tank frequently. And really, that's only done if you have a temporary situation, a permanent plumbed combination unit or eyewash unit somewhere is out of commission. It's out of their hands, and they need something in place to have some sort of response. Drop a portable in place, throw some water in it. It's good for a couple weeks. You're all set. Now, your second option is a bacteriostatic preservative, like our own Haas 9082. One bottle can be poured into a tank of 5 to 20 gallons, and it will prevent growth in the tank for up to 4 months. This is a great option for portables that are set up to be temporary, again, only to be used a handful of months at a time, rather than it being a more permanent fixture on site. Okay, in which the 9083 would be a much better option if it's a permanent fixture in the facility. Also, pro tip, don't pour this concentrate directly into your eyes. You'll then need an eye wash, and we get that phone call here and there. The 9082 comes most commonly in a 4-pack, but we do have other options available if they want to buy more. But that 4-pack will give them a year and 4 months, a year and 4 months of protection. Your third choice is a competitor's sterile saline cartridge system. Okay, these can last up to 2 years. 2 years if you don't touch it. There are a few very clear advantages that we have here with the 9083. First of which is that you are required to do a 15-minute activation and annual test on your equipment. The cartridge will need to be replaced if this is done, as the pre-filled bags can't be refilled, right? While with the 9083, you can simply fill up the now empty portable tank and you're all set. That's all you have to do. Once you use that cartridge system, it's done, right? There's no refilling it. So the issue there being that most commonly when I'm doing surveys and I am running into these things, I know they're not doing an annual test because that device was installed, a year and a half ago, and they don't want me to activate it, which is an ANSI compliance concern. The second advantage is that curiosity gets all of us sometimes. If an employee were to accidentally, quote unquote, or intentionally activate the Fendall or other cartridge-based portable system, then it'll need to be replaced. To borrow a tagline from Pringles, once you pop it, you can't stop, right? The cartridge will run until it's empty. There's no shutting it off at that point. You've popped the cartridge and it is going to run until it's done. I can't stop rhyming. While the Haas, the 9083 can simply be reused and refilled. That's all it takes. And that's a huge advantage for us. Being able to simply refill the tank and reuse the device however many times that you deem necessary within a 3-year window. That's huge. It lowers the amount of maintenance necessary, the amount of the cost of the overall unit, et cetera. It only goes up with these accidental activations or annual activations if they're doing them as well. The third advantage is that the 9083 weighs like 1 pound and is really inexpensive to ship, as opposed to shipping literal bags of water, which is much more expensive. Now, that will bring us to your Haas gravity-fed and portable eye wash options. There are the first two that I want to talk about are the 7500 and 7501. Both gravity-fed and work with either the 9082 or the 9083. They have ANSI Z535.1 compliant green bodies indicating the location of safety or safety equipment, as well as a 15-minute plus runtime to ensure you're getting a full compliant rinse. The 7500 differs slightly in that it includes a tray that will catch the contaminated water and allow you to funnel that water to your desired location. Okay, the larger tank doesn't include a longer runtime though, which is a fairly common misconception. But it does require more water due to the larger molded plastic body that includes the tray. Both have a freeze-resistant option as well. The 7501 has an optional retrofittable jacket that prevents freezing down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit or -30 degrees Celsius. That can be bought as the 7501T, which will include both the unit and the jacket, or the 7501BL, which will be just the blanket, and that can go on any 7501 out there in the field. While the 7500 has a 7500EB model, which includes a submerged 1000 watt, 120 volt heater that sits in the tank and constantly warms the water and protects the unit down to -30 degrees Fahrenheit or -34.4 degrees Celsius. The other two options are pressurized portables, and for now, only accept the 9082 pour in preservative. The 9083 won't work with these yet, and I'm hoping that will come soon or at a later date as we continue with the success of the 9083. Now, these heavy-duty pressurized vessels also provide a floor-standing unit rather than a wall-mounted option like the previous two, allowing it to sit in the middle of a construction area or, other permanent or temporary installation. The 7601.37 gets you a 30-minute runtime, which is huge. Not only does that allow for a 30-minute runtime for the eye wash, but it includes standard a drench hose. So if you're utilizing the drench hose along with the eye wash, you'll get a nice long runtime from both. However, the drench hose does use quite a bit more water, right? So your runtime is going to be slightly diminished. We prefer them get their full 15-minute eye wash rinse and then use the drench hose to spot clean face, shoulders, arms, boots, etc., whatever needs to happen. It can even be used just for PPE decontamination, right? If they are sprayed with something, but they're fully protected, preferably a shower is ideal in that situation, but we can't put showers everywhere. So this is a great solution for those types of areas where you can grab the drench hose, rinse off your PPE, and then remove it. And the 7603, that is a 15-minute runtime, right? Just over 15 minutes. We want to make sure they're getting their 15 minutes and the correct height of the flow to hit both eyes simultaneously. And then after 15 minutes, it'll start to slowly die off. They are easily refillable, but remember, you'll need air to charge these to 100 PSI and 75 PSI respectively. Only the 7603 has a freeze protection jacket though, and that jacket will prevent freezing at temperatures down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit or -30 degrees Celsius. Now, from an ANSI ISCA Z358.1-2014 R2020 performance standard requirements, look, the units themselves, of course, the eye washes must deliver a minimum of 0.4 gallons per minute of water for 15 minutes. All portables are eye washes. We don't have portables that include eye face washes. That includes our competition. The size of the tank would take portable right out of the name at a requirement of 3 gallons per minute, right? So 0.4 gallons per minute required there. And then, of course, the unit has to go from off to on in 1 second or less and remain on without the use of the operator's hands, just like you see in the video here. My friend from the production floor activating the 7501 portable. The flow pattern needs to be 33 to 53 inches from the surface floor of the user. And that is the top of the flow pattern for the water, not the heads of the device, right? So we measure from the floor to the top of the flow pattern. And as long as it's between that 33 to 53 inches, it's fully compliant. It also must be non-injurious and a controlled flow to both eyes simultaneously, right? We have to hit both eyeballs directly for that full 15 minutes. And if it's spraying at a rate that is injurious, that is coming out at a level that is going to harm the eyes, that is a serious compliance concern, as you are likely not to finish your flush. Outlets also need to be protected from airborne contaminants. You'll notice on the 7501 and on the 7500 that there are no actual dust caps directly on the eye wash heads. And that's because with quite a few examples of our equipment, both portable or faucet mounted, if you know what I'm talking about, the heads of the device are angled down. So there's zero chance of dust or debris collecting in the heads of the eye wash, which is fully compliant. And then last, the delivered flushing fluid from the unit has to be between 60 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit to be fully compliant. Now, on a weekly and annual basis, all portables need to be tested, right? When it comes to plumbed units, you're required to actually activate the unit. You have to turn it on, release the water, clear out the dead leg in the pipe, and ensure the unit is working correctly. With portable units on a weekly basis, self-contained units, all that is required is a visual inspection. You must go to the unit, open up the dust cover, look inside, ensure the water is at the correct fill level for the manufacturer's unit, and that there's no debris or growth or other nasty stuff in the tank, and sign the tag and walk away. You're good to go. But on an annual basis, all plumbed and portable equipment has to be activated for a full 15 minutes and tested to the standard every single year. Brings us to the conclusion of this fast-tracked Friday presentation, brought to you by Haas, your favorite eye wash manufacturer.